are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation where fentanyl and other forms of illegal drugs are easier to get than groceries to feed our beautiful families. We have become a drug-infested, crime-ridden nation. We will institute the powerful death penalty for drug dealers. Mothers will never again be forced to watch their children overdosing and hopelessly dying in the arms of screaming, "What can I do? What can I do? I want my child back." We are a nation whose once revered airports are dirty, crowded mess, where ticket prices have tripled. They don't have the pilots to fly the planes. They don't have the qualified air traffic controllers. And they just don't know what the hell they're doing. It was hard-working patriots like you who built this country, and it's hard-working patriots like you who are going to save our country. 2024 is our final battle. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. And we will make America great again. Let's indict them.
And we're muted. Sorry about that. All right. Well, I don't want to. Normally, I would steal the whole animation, but I feel bad because he just put it out. So, folks, if you want to see the rest of this animation, go ahead and follow this link right here. This is Amon Animations. This is Amon Animations. You know, it's okay. It's okay to show stuff. You know, I'm not claiming ownership over it, and I always try to give credit. So he just put it out, Amon Animations. Make sure you check it out. Absolutely amazing creator. None of it is AI. It's handcrafted in Blender, I believe. So big props to Amon Animations there. I really found this scene right here, specifically the one that we're watching, very interesting because he has to get very esoteric and he has to get very artsy fartsy and symbolism when it comes to his criticism of Israel right? And it's so instead of showing like IDF troops with with the Star of David and stuff, he's trying to avoid that for obvious reasons. We all know why.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic.
So he's getting really, so you show Biden embracing, what is clearly a symbol of death. And, then this creature vomiting out thousands and thousands of who knows what could be dead bodies. I just think Ammon Animations here had to get, it was interesting to see how he had to get interpretive with it. And I guess I really should show this as well. I'm sorry, Ammon, but I have to show this where Bernie Sanders, a bird of peace on Biden's shoulder,
Cruel war. It must be defeated.
So, and Biden crushing it with his fist. So, Ammon here getting really, really, like I said, interpretive, and I really like it. Really brilliant artist. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe to that Ammon Animations. You will not be disappointed. All right, folks, I don't have time to waste, even though I'm doing a lot of time wasting. This is the News Underground. I am Abandoned Nihilism. You, if you're new here, you just so happen to find the realest motherfucking news channel on Twitch, bar none, without a goddamn doubt, in the motherfucking universe. Okay, we keep it so motherfucking real it hurts. That's how I operate 24/7. I'm lucky to have a wife. You don't live like me without sacrifices. Speaking of sacrifices, we're going to get right into it. World news, U.S., Gaza Strip, and Ukraine. And I got a strict time limit here, so not going to be able to cover everything. We're going to be doing another stream tomorrow. That's right, a Monday stream. So look forward to that. I don't need luck. Fuck, man. Luck? I think I'm cursed. So I got to make my own luck. And that's how it's been 24/7. But I don't want a hard world. I want to make the world easier for everybody. Okay? I don't want to be a boomer saying, oh, yeah, well, I used to have to carve my tires out of stone. Yeah, well, we have technology to do that for us now, boomer. You know what I mean? We got motherfuckers living in the lap of luxury at the very top of humanity, living like no other human has ever lived. And they can't slice off a little bit for us. They can't slice off a little bit for you and me. Bullshit. Bullshit. And I'm here to say it. So welcome to the News Underground. Once again, I am Abandoned Nihilism, a.k.a. The Harbinger. Let's get into it. First story of the day. It's official. Sweden to join NATO. That's right. And I'd like to give a special thanks to NATO's #1 employee of the century, Vladimir Putin. Motherfucking Pooty Poot over here getting the job done. No one could do it. The dust was gathering on these contracts for decades. Sweden, Finland, I don't know, dog. I don't know. We're still trying to work it out with Russia. We're not trying to make it look like we're against Russia here. Fucking Pooty Poot rolls on into Ukraine thinking he can take Kyiv in 3 days. Sweden and Finland. Oh, yeah, this NATO Hey, guys, NATO? Hi. Hey, I know we haven't talked in a long time, but I signed the paperwork. I found time. Wouldn't you know it? I found time to sign that NATO paperwork. Wow. So anyway, can we expedite this? So big props to Vladimir Poot for getting that done for NATO. Thank you so much, Vladimir Putin. All right, if you want to read this whole I don't have time to read it. You want the details, look it up. You get it. Blah, blah, blah. Hungary got in the way. There was bullshit. Turkey got in the way. Erdogan got in the, you know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can do this. Obviously, Erdogan is Turkey. Hungary. It's the guy with the big lips. Hungary, the guy with the big lips. What the fuck is his name? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. You know what I'm talking about, though. There was a lot of back and forth and give me this and give me that and yada yada, leveraging power. All that shit was taken care of. Motherfucker with the big lips. He got them big juicies. All right, moving on to the next one. This is amazing. Tory party over here. What? Motherfucking Tory party. Viktor Orban, yeah. Or is it? Is that Orban in Hungary? Is that his name? Is that Mr. Juicy Lips? No, I was thinking of motherfucking someone else, dude. God damn. No, wrong button. I can't even hit the right button. No, so yeah, you are correct. I was incorrect. Who's that motherfucker with the big old juicy lips? That's all I can. He's a horrible leader. He's a horrible leader. That's all I can think of when I see him. He's got these big old juicy lips that are like moisturized. They're like shiny. Okay, no, back to the story here. The Tories, okay, guys, stop this. You're slowing down. No, it's not Erdogan. No, you're slowing down the stream. It's your fault. No. Okay, but this is hilarious. So the Tories over here, they can't call a fellow member out for Islamophobia because then they know the next question would be, well, what about this other Tory member who made similar comments? Do you also think that is now Islamophobia? Oh, we dug up these comments from this Tory member. Pretty similar to what this guy just said. You sure that isn't Islamophobia? So what these clowns have to do is robotically just say, it was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. When asked, okay, the statements by, I think it's 10p Lee, 20p Lee, statements by this Tory, I mean, clearly Islamophobic, right? And I wish I really, if I was doing my job properly, I'd probably have the statements, but they're very Islamophobic. They're very Islamophobic. And I don't even have the name of the guy. I suck so much. We're gonna get the name of the guy. It doesn't matter. It's just a Tory, you know. They're all the fucking same. No, that's terrible. I'm having a good time today, folks, even though I'm out of timeline here. I'm just having a good time. I'm shooting the shit. But no, this video is hilarious because all the Tories in lockstep have to say the same robotic phrase over and over and over again. And it just makes them look like, well, obviously it makes them look, corrupt and lockstep, but it also, it really just makes them look kind of weak. You know what I mean? It really does kind of deflate them. Show you what I mean here.
Rishi Sunak urged to speak out by Tory peer as Islamophobia row deepens. This is in response to what the former Deputy Conservative Party Chairman Lee Anderson said in an interview with GB News on Friday about the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, who is Muslim. Let's have a listen.
Well, they can't give a proper apology, strategy member. They can't give a proper apology. If they apologize for this guy, now they got to apologize for, I don't know, half of the shit that Suella Braverman has said.
I don't actually believe that these Islamists have got control of our country, but what I do believe is they've got control of Khan, and they've got control of London, and they've got control of Storm as well. And this stems with Khan. He's actually given our capital city away to his mates.
Rachel, are Lee Anderson's words that we've just heard there Islamophobic?
Well, Lee Anderson's words were wrong. They were unacceptable, and that's why
I know that we've heard that from the Prime Minister, but are they Islamophobic?
So I am just repeating to you what the Prime Minister said.
The words of Lee Anderson, would you regard them as Islamophobic?
Well, I've been very clear that what Lee said was wrong, it was unacceptable, and that's why we suspended the whip. And it's important that everybody, but particularly elected politicians, are careful with their words and do not inflame tensions.
So slimy.
But there's a difference between wrong and Islamophobic. Were they Islamophobic?
Well, I think the most important thing is that the words were wrong.
You say it was wrong. Was it racist?
Well, it was wrong, and I'm not going to get into arguing about the rights and wrongs of what he said. It was wrong. In my book, wrong is a strong word.
Thank you, Rob.
It was not
Different
true.
word to racist.
As I said, Sadiq Khan's got a terrible record on his track record as Mayor of London.
That's not my question, Mr. Harper. You've already dealt with that matter. My question is, was it racist what he said?
Yeah, it's so wrong.
Well, look, I'm not going to get into a detailed analysis of what he said. What he said was wrong, and it wasn't true. He shouldn't have said it. He failed to take the opportunity to retract those comments and apologise. That's why there was firmly...
Lots of people are wrong. I'm wrong on a daily basis. I'm not a racist.
No, but what he said about Sadiq Khan was profoundly wrong. Those things were not true. They're not true, and what he said was wrong.
And do you believe his comments were racist?
I think that what Lee said was completely unacceptable. It was wrong.
Why was it necessary for Lee Anderson to have the whip suspended? Where was the tolerance there?
Well, Nick, respectfully, I think what Lee said was wrong.
Yeah.
And as a result...
I mean, is there any other word? You know, these guys are the posh British guys. Don't they have a grasp of the English language better than any schmuck Yankee like me? They got one word. They're going to say it in unison. Is this how, like, a formulaic and, like, on autopilot this party is? Like, you know, are they just like, yeah, it's the apocalypse is coming, and so we're just going to do the bog standard, send out the press release, tell everybody to say it's wrong, not even really going to no one's even bothering to spice it up, change it up, use different language. Everyone's saying it's wrong, the same exact word. These guys they don't give a shit anymore. They're done. They toast and they know it, and it seems like they're just on autopilot.
Well, as a result of what he said, he had the whip removed from him. That's
what was it specifically that meant the whip had to go? We agree it was wrong, but why was it wrong?
Nick, it was wrong. What Lee said. What he said was wrong. As a result of what he said, the whip was removed from him. That was robust action. That was robust action that was taken.
I'm trying to get at.
But it was wrong.
It was wrong, Nick, because of what he said, and robust action was taken as a result.
Let's try this a different.
I'd like to remind you, Nick Ferrari is a pro-Tory, pro-Brexit conservative. Just thought I'd remind you that.
Way. Was it Islamophobic?
What he said was wrong, and robust action was taken, and the whip was removed within 24 hours.
Minister, was it Islamophobic?
Was it?
Nick, it was wrong.
Minister, I'm going to, and I'm normally a very polite man. I'm actually going to effectively put the fact. I'll ask you now for the third time. I've asked you 6 times why it was necessary. For the third time, was it Islamophobic?
Nick, it was wrong.
I'll have to curtail the interview there. I'm grateful for your time, but enough already. Michael Tomlinson is the Minister of State for Illegal Migration, unable to answer a question.
The words of Lee Anderson, would you regard them as Islamophobic?
Well, I've been very clear.
Okay,
I think I'll just give the
all right, so there you go. This is actually a video from Peter Stefanik here. Let's go ahead and give him the last word.
Final word on this to the always magnificent Rosie
We're putting together
Holt.
this video here.
You say it was wrong. Was it racist?
Well, it was wrong. It was wrong, and I'm not afraid to come out and say it was wrong. And for me, saying something is wrong is very strong. It's very strong in my book.
Yeah.
You know, I've got the dictionary here, and when I go to wrong, I've highlighted it, and I only highlight really strong words. And
wow, dude. Wow. What is the clown show going on over in the Tory party? What is this? Dude, we're so far away from governing. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? You highlighted a word in the motherfucking... Show me. Put it up. What in the fuck are you smoking? What are you smoking, biscuit?
Look, you know, I've got the dictionary here, and when I go to wrong, I've highlighted it, and I only highlight really strong words. And when someone says, you know, really she condemns something in the strongest terms, well, for me, the strongest terms I could use is wrong, because usually I think I say things are right. But in this case, I'm saying it was wrong.
Wrong. Right. And this isn't a sketch, right? Wrong, right? Good thing good, bad thing bad. I mean, they...
But in this case, I'm saying it was wrong.
Wow, man. Wow. Someone go fucking save these people. What the? She was drowning, dude. She was drowning. Wow, man. God help me if I she had nothing. She had nothing. Highlighted a word.
The strongest terms.
Highlighted a word in the dictionary. I only highlight the strongest word. I got the best words. Wow. Wow. I mean, I'm shocked. I did not see that ending part. This is not a sketch, dude. This is being overlooked. Peter Stefanik is literally the only one. Make sure you like and subscribe, folks. I know I'm not subscribed either. Fine, sorry, I'm a fucking hypocrite. No, Peter Stefanik. He's the only. No one else has this clip. I haven't seen anyone else cover this clip. This needs to be talked about more. I did not see this part in this video when I queued it up. I only saw like the first 75%. Oh, Davin. Okay, you gotta see this, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. We gotta show this whole thing one more time. This is unbelievable. Uninterrupted, unpaused. You gotta see this. This is unbelievable. I actually cannot believe this.
You say it was wrong. Was it racist?
Well, it was wrong. It was wrong, and I'm not afraid to come out and say it was wrong. And for me, saying something is wrong is very strong. It's very strong in my book. You know, I've got the dictionary here, and when I go to wrong, I've highlighted it, and I only highlight really strong words. And
in yellow.
When someone says, you know, she condemned something in the strongest terms, well, for me, the strongest terms I could use is wrong, because usually I think I say things are right.
It's like the C word in the US.
I'm saying it was wrong.
Wow, man. I mean, I was kind of talking over that last part.
Right. Really strong words. And when someone says, you know, she condemned something in the strongest terms, well, for me, the strongest terms I could use is wrong, because usually I think I say things are right. But in this case, I'm saying it was wrong.
That is the stupidest. That is the stupidest fucking response. Political response. That you know what I mean? I think Louis Gohmert. You know what I'm saying? That is unbelievable, dude. Okay, I'm moving on, but wow. And if you want to see this yourself, make sure you like and subscribe. Peter Stefanik. Thank you so much for putting this video together, Peter. Wow. We got more world news here, folks. I know. But wow, I'm just... This is politics. You know what I mean? I highlighted a word in the dictionary. Okay. People are dying, okay? People are fucking dying right now, okay? We don't have time for this fucking mediocrity representing us. Anyway, okay. I'm going through the whole thing. Anger, acceptance over here, okay? I'm just like, okay. Okay, over here in Chad, the coup attempt is, over there in the coup belt. Chad, coup attempt underway, violent clashes with the capital, and Jamnana video. Opposition leader Dillo, believed to be the author of the attempted coup, was reportedly killed. Interesting. There are reports of an attempted coup d'etat underway in Chad after a group of soldiers reportedly headed towards the presidential palace in... Okay, I need to know how to say this correctly. It looks like a beautiful word. I want to know how to say it correctly. You say it. Yeah, pronunciation is literally the first thing that comes up. All right, here we go. Oh,
N'Djamena.
N'Djamena. Oh, that's beautiful. N'Djamena. towards the presidential palace in N'Djamena in an attempt to take control of it. Violent clashes are underway in the capital of Chad, N'Djamena, between the armed forces loyal to the transition president Mahamat Déby and the dissidents led by the political opponent Yahya Sayed. This was reported by sources quoted by the information site Chad 1, according to which several deaths and injuries were reported on both sides in the fighting. We have some video here. Heading for Moscow, they say, he looked just like me for real, for real. Yeah, except these guys wouldn't have, you know, called up their daddy. You know, is this okay if I invade you real quick? Oh no, is that not cool? Okay, I'll stop. Please don't kill me in a couple months. I don't know how Prigozhin got so lucky making such stupid decisions like that. Like, you made the decision. Everyone else, and I bet his soldiers were really confused too. You know, Prigozhin's, Wagner, standing there with their dick in their hands while he's calling up daddy saying sorry. Meanwhile, they're like invading Moscow. I just don't know how someone so stupid got so fucking lucky, right? Really, it really does show like the state of, you know, corruption in Russia. You know, like if you're really just like a bootlicker, if you really, you know, you can get really far. Images circulating on social media show a massive presence of military forces in the streets of the capital, as well as armed vehicles and tanks, while the internet is down and the situation remains confusing. Interesting. And of course, internet being down is usually an intentional thing. Honestly, I think he made a deal to keep his family safe, not himself. I think he was aware. I don't know. A guy who is aware that he's going to get assassinated at any moment doesn't strut around some African some conference in Africa like it's all good, like nothing happened. Yeah, Davin. Yeah. Now we're all talking about Prigozhin here. Let's get back to Chad. Chad security forces have arrested General Saleh Déby Into, uncle of the transition leader Mahamat, and believed to be one of the masterminds of the unrest which is currently affecting the capital of... Oh, damn it. Damn it. I had this too. See how bad it is? Help me out. N'Djamena. There we go. N'Djamena. Affecting the capital N'Djamena. He reports it with the information website Chad 1, according to which the opposition leader Yahya Dillo, Saleh's nephew, was killed by forces loyal to the transitional president Mahamat Déby. Man, you know, it's like the same story over and over and over again in these African countries. Please God, tell me Chad's not. Okay, yes, thank God. We're talking about the coup belt here. Okay, just want to make sure. Because I often get there's a few European countries that I get mixed up. But no, it's the same story. Corruption. The people who coup are just as bad as the people who are in charge. And the people are left in the lurch. And, you know, and where the West is culpable, where the West is guilty, is in doing nothing to stop this cycle. You know, sending some food aid here and there. But if there's a dictator, if there's a despot that is extracting mineral wealth and, you know, can get his shit together enough to export some jewels, gems, or precious metals, well, here comes the West, willing to legitimize that government, and willing to do deals with that government. And it's such a vicious cycle. In the afternoon, the army was besieged. Had besieged the headquarters of his party, the Socialist Party Without Borders, PSF, with heavy weapons, killing about 10 activists and wounding several. After the MP's decision to nominate Mahamat Déby for the presidential elections on 6th of May, against every promise of the transition, Saleh in turn presented his candidacy for the presidency, effectively becoming Déby's electoral opponent. So it's just the same shit over and over and over again. Everyone's a bad actor. You know, the people doing the coup, the revolution, the government. You know, the people that are like, it's the innocent folks. But I mean, I do need to, and I'm not trying to victim blame here, but if there's any one entity that's going to break the cycle, it will be the people, the Chadanian people, not these cult of personalities, these charismatic people, attempting one coup after the other. The Chad people versus the Virgin government kind of writes itself, doesn't it, Tisrael? Welcome back. Suspected of conspiracy against the head of the junta, Saleh, was the subject of an arrest attempt as early as February 4th when intelligence forces and riot police surrounded his house again. So, I mean, how much we got left on this? Oh, two more. Okay. Prime Minister of Chad, Sukkes Masra, currently visited the United States, has meanwhile announced his support for President Deby in these, quote, in these unfortunate and painful moments that are undermining our peace and national cohesion. I would like to express my total and unconditional support for the head of state of our defense and security forces and our Republican institutions, Masra wrote on X, calling for calm and to continue the journey, quote, to build a Chad of justice and equality, a reconciled Chad, a Chad for everyone with everyone. See, I mean, they say shit like this, then they get in charge and pocket money for decades while their people don't have running water and plumbing, while the rest of the world is fucking in virtual reality over here, getting our dicks sucked by dragons and shit. You know what I mean? These guys can't even shit in a fucking toilet. Oh, I'm gonna build Chad for everyone. Yeah, okay. And then they get in charge, and it's just a total shit show. Mr. Beast probably did more than their government. And you go and I've shown interviews. We show clips from African News, and interviews with people. There's just no expectation of their government to do anything for them. It's amazing to me when I see these like big campaigns. Maybe it's just people from the city, like more urban people who are this, but the people chanting and marching for these these characters. It's like how what I see this everywhere with citizens in every country. When are we going to learn our fucking lesson? Just getting lied to. Dude, it's pathetic. How easy it is to fool us, to trick us, to tell us what we want to hear, The Faranisia and the Italian embassy in Cameroon, also responsible for the Central African Republic of Chad and Equatorial Guinea, quote, are carefully monitoring the evolution of the situation in Chad. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Antonio Tanjani, is constantly informed of the latest developments. The Faranisia reports in a message via Twitter, announcing that any emergency or report is possible, contact crisis unit, blah, blah. Yeah. Here's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Just like everywhere else in Africa. And yeah, no, the West, it's the West does have a part to play here, and they're not playing it. Like I said, they're only interested in exploiting Africa. Oh, when we got to go blow up some Afghanistan, religious zealots in a mountain somewhere. Oh, now we can spread democracy and we can enforce democracy. Okay. And, Africa? No. You're on your own. Unless you can somehow get your shit together to export some precious minerals, and then we'll buy them for pennies on the dollar. Thanks so much. The hits don't stop. Moving on to Senegal, and thank God this is a video here. We don't have to hear me read. So pathetic. It's unclear at this point what happens after April 2nd. Senegal political crisis right now, so there's a coup attempt. Let's hear from France 24 here.
The Technical Commission present at the National Dialogue has recommended that a new presidential election date be fixed for June the 2nd. That's sometime after the official end of Macky Sall's term in office, which draws to a close on April 2nd.
Mr. Beast just buys all the African countries. He just buys them all, unifies it. Mr. Beast land, he calls it Beast land.
So, begs the question, why not hold an election before April 2nd? The argument given by those in power is that there are a number of important religious festivals and events coming up, notably Ramadan, and they argue that you simply can't hold an electoral process while these religious festivities and events are taking place. This is
so, gee, I wonder what his poll numbers look like, right? I mean, it's the same fucking story over and over and over again in Africa.
An argument which is unlikely to be accepted by the opposition, which have called on the country's constitutional council effectively to force Macky Sall to fix an election date before April 2nd, before the end of his mandate. Now, Macky Sall has said that he would step down after his term in office finishes, but it's unclear at this point what happens after April 2nd. Who will take power if there isn't an election before then? And that's really one of the key questions remaining in this ongoing political saga.
Yeah, okay, guys. So what do you guys think? He's going to step down, huh? Yeah, no. Usual bullshit. Usual bullshit in Africa. And you know, and it's, you know, please don't misconstrue it as like racism or anything like that. It's this kind of failure to, you know, I mean, Ben Franklin talked about it. You know, you can have a democracy if you can keep it. You know what I mean? This is not a new phenomenon. And, you know, as an activist, as a political activist, as a person who wants to create political change, this is the challenge, right? How do you motivate people to care about themselves, their family, and the world around them? You know, and this is why I call myself abandoned nihilism, because I think the left needs to start addressing the philosophical and, you know, kind of what's the word I'm looking for, right? I can't quite find the word, right? But there's more to it than just making smart policy. Like, we need to address the sadness. We need to address the despair. We need to address, you know, what drives a person to, you know, to either fall into mediocrity and fall into apathy, or in some cases lash out against society. I feel like the left doesn't do a good job of, you know, addressing that. But the only people that do address that are the people on the left. You know, you got characters like Marianne Williamson. With that said, Marianne Williamson, yeah, no, that didn't work out. She reopened her presidential campaign though, so good for her. Because of South Carolina, she got, I don't know, like 2% of the vote or 1% of the vote, so she's unsuspending her campaign. But she's the only one I've seen on the left, you know, in terms of U.S. politics, really talking about how, look, people are depressed and there's a reason. You know, and of course it has to do with economics. Of course it has to do with class, but there's a deeper reason. And I do think it is an embrace of nihilism being encouraged by the oligarchy. You know, the nihilism benefits the empire. It benefits the oligarchy. Yeah, this is really funny. Please, this was either Strategy Member or Borderline Feline who posted this in the Discord. But this is another one. You know, we're going to do a couple UK stories here. How long have I been streaming? 40 minutes. I got to hurry it up. Whoops. Just wanted to pause that. But this is really crazy. This is how bad Brexit has made things in the UK in terms of prices. And this is what you can expect when you privatize, when you allow these Tories who, you know, they get into office saying government is broken, and then they break government as soon as they get into office to prove themselves right. This is the kind of shit that you're gonna get. And you know, I don't know. It used to be kind of a bellwether of how well your country is running. Were the you know, the train lines. I'm really kind of depressed that is no longer the case, that there should be mass protests in the street about shit like this, and you'll see what I mean here.
Recently, and then it's like, is this seriously what we become? Okay, so look, two friends living in Newcastle and Birmingham in the UK met up in Malaga because it was cheaper to fly to Spain than getting the train to see each other. Check this out. I don't know if you can see the prices. Price from the train from Newcastle to Birmingham, £105. Birmingham to Malaga flight, what is it? £55.29. So total cost with the tax and everything, £105 versus £75.27. How is...
So if you're not sure what the hell's going on here, it's cheaper to buy a round trip plane ticket than to take a train. And that's not how it's supposed to work. That's not how it's supposed to work, because it actually is more resource intensive to get on a plane than to take a train. So it should be cheaper. But because of the economics, how screwed up the economics are, that's just how bad it is. And maybe there was a sale. Maybe this is just like a viral thing. But I have other evidence here. I have other comments from people that were in professions that were sold a bill of goods. Truck drivers and fishermen and all different kinds of blue collar blue collar kind of positions were offered a bill of goods by Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers about how we're gonna cut through the red tape, things are gonna get cheaper, things are gonna get easier, we're gonna negotiate better deals, and none of that has come to fruition. So here is from the truck drivers themselves, from their own lips. They voted for Boris. They voted for Brexit. They bought into it, and this is what they have to say about it.
So if you had like a message for Boris Johnson, what would you say to him?
Yeah, Davey. Yeah.
Come and have a day in the life of a truck driver, and then tell me that it's a
Volume.
good idea.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be that way. To me, that's the trains, to me, that's a sign of failure of government. It's one of those clear signs that there is something amiss, corruption, usually.
Up by Cambridge area with a load that's going to Italy. So I had to do all the T1 documents and custom documents on the way back down. So, I mean, I'm about an hour and a half behind where I would have been 18 months ago, because I've spent the best part of an hour and a half today sat waiting for customs paperwork.
So what was something where he would usually just drive right through? Yep, hey, here's bop bop. Here's my number. Bop. Oh, here's what I'm doing. Here's the company. Yep, have a good day. Nice day. Now he's stuck in hours long, sometimes days long queues because of the new inspection requirements. Because now they're no longer in the European Union. And these deals haven't been renegotiated, and nothing has gotten better. And this is where the Nigel Farages and all these other bad actors will come in and say, oh, well, yeah, that's because the idea of Brexit is good. It just wasn't implemented correctly. Well, who the fuck was in charge of that then, bitch? You know what I mean? That was part of the deal. That was part of the deal, was your implied competence. So do you admit that you were incompetent in implementing these changes and renegotiating these deals? Oh, no, of course I would never admit that. Never, especially on camera. I would never admit that. I'm a bad actor, and I'm here to sell an ideology, not an idea.
So now, since Brexit, this is all the extra paperwork. You have the customs documents, and then the usual CMR. This is what you used to just have before. And then you have envelopes
Things are
with
definitely
invoices, envelopes with packing lists, envelopes, customs declarations.
Look at that.
All of that has to add up. And if one thing's wrong on any of that, they can't clear it. And that's the end of that. It's to return to where it started.
So now just mountains of paperwork.
It was like pre-Brexit compared to what it is.
Oh, doddle. Amazing. So much fun. It's like driving. It's like being on a massive road trip holiday. You get to see places that no one else has ever seen, see things from angles that no one sees.
So he used to love his job. just putzing
We're here
around,
to
driving
drive,
around.
and we seem to be turning more into receptionists than drivers these days.
Yeah, and now
Because you're
it's
just
all
waiting
about
for
paperwork.
Whereas before it was,
I can
right, you're
relate.
picking up this load and you're going to here. That's it, 1,000 kilometres, off you go. You could be waiting for 5 minutes, you could be waiting for 5 hours, you could be waiting days. Personally, for me, I've waited 4.5 days for paperwork.
4.5 days. Bureaucracy
We've lost
that was
about 6
added
staff
after Brexit.
in the space of 6 months. They
Volume.
just can't cope with the stresses, they can't cope with the new challenges. You know, the drivers obviously very frustrated, so they take the frustration out. Customers get frustrated, so they take it out on the office staff. You know, it's extremely challenging. You know, it's very difficult to do this job now. Before Brexit, we did have formalities that we used to have to complete, but nowhere near the challenges that we're facing now. I feel like we've been left to hang dry, really.
Yeah. It was never about helping you.
I had a customer of ours,
and I'm actually confused about the, you know, who's making money off Brexit. Like, who is this actually? But it's seemingly very few, even Tory-aligned companies and corporations are benefiting. It seems like everyone's losing out. So it really does seem like the Tories bought into their own bullshit, and they actually didn't have a plan to steal. Like, who's making out like a bandit now that all these, you know, these rules have been rescinded? It doesn't seem like anyone's really, like, you know, have the Tories actually failed in passing legislation and rules that would, maybe that's what, of course, that's what Liz Truss was all about, right? With her economic reforms. It was about taking advantage of Brexit, changing things, making things even more beneficial for the rich. And then, of course, the economy of, you know, not liking that massive change. Even though it's so interesting, yeah, because like all of her ideas were of, you know, the bankers, and, you know, Kwasi Kwarteng was all about, you know, implementing this incredibly, harsh right-wing pro-oligarchy reforms, and then that failed. So yeah, so they actually failed at taking it. So no one's making any money. No one's even taking advantage of Brexit now. Everyone's losing. Wow. That is so fascinating, because there was definitely an attempt to implement massive economic reform with Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng that completely failed once they got a little taste of what that would actually look like. And because they were changing the market to have very few haves and a bunch of have-nots, and that includes $1 million, you know, corporations and people, right? There was a big chunk of people that were going to lose out, but a small group of people that were going to make a shitload of money. Which is kind of, you know, it's what we have here in the United States, you know, and people really enjoy it.
that came this morning, he paid for some goods last September. He paid for his product in Italy. He's trying to import it into the UK, and at the moment he's having to wait for his paperwork to be sorted out. And he's basically pulling his, you know, his hair out because he doesn't know how to do it.
I just feel like the government doesn't actually have a backbone to this.
Doesn't
Obviously,
have a backbone.
we wanted Brexit.
Yeah, they don't have a plan.
And they delivered Brexit, but actually, you would have thought that the ministers behind this would have made this as less painful for us as possible.
So this must have been really awkward. All these guys were in the office. They were probably cheering when Brexit was passed. And then they're like on the front. One of the companies and corporations, or, you know, logistics here, on the front lines of some of these massive changes. Documents are signed. Okay, it's finalized. It happens. Day one, their entire life changes. God, that must have been so awkward. People just like quietly pulling down their get it done, Brexiteer, level up propaganda.
Would have made
that must have been really awkward
for us as possible.
There had to have been some dissent. There had to have been people in the guys. This is going to make our job hell. We don't want this.
Better check your recheck your oil, Luke.
Oh, the Tories are going to renegotiate.
One of the biggest problems is disruptions, and that does take a huge toll on the workshop, because, you know, we might have something booked in and planned, and then all of a sudden the plans are changed because of what's happening with the disruption, and it can cause problems with our whole weekly routine.
with the paperwork, it's a long time. Just now, we wait, because we were 2 drivers, we wait 2 hours in Calais. We wait
Just wait.
2 hour and a half.
And they don't turn their trucks off either. They're sitting there idling. So there you go. That's just a little eyewitness from, you know, and some, you know, of course the bad actors say, oh, that's biased. You only went after the guys that are negative, right? You didn't balance the story out with any Brexit success stories. Brexit success stories. You got a whole. Isn't somebody in the Tory party in charge of like talking about or discovering Brexit success stories? Isn't that what Nigel Farage is doing, or is that Jacob Rees-Mogg? Where they're like literally, it's like his entire job is to try to find Brexit benefits. Okay, so that's all I have time for today with world news. We're moving on. I'm gonna get to the. That was all the most exciting stuff. I know. Everyone wants that Canadian news. I know. Everyone loves Canada news. Please, you guys run away from my stream anytime I talk about Canada. Pierre Poilievre. It's so boring. Into the bank account of a few corrupt politicians. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, who's actually making out? You know what I mean? This doesn't seem like it's benefiting anybody. You know? A little bit of my oatmeal there. Gross. You know what I mean? This isn't benefiting anybody. So we got to start off with our U.S. Stories here with this. Just shocking. I mean, right out of the DCU, you know, right out of Marvel, this scenario, you know, bro was too thirsty. But no, check this out. This, I don't know what happened, you know, who knows what the story is, if there was a mechanical malfunction, if the driver was inebriated, if there was a traffic thing that he was, like a car was a family and there was, he had to swerve out of the way. I don't know what the story is. But as you can see here, the Cisco truck here, I mean, just barely, really, if he was probably going like 1 mile an hour faster, he got super lucky here how it was caught. And yes, in this case, I was competent enough to prep a video. Yeah, maybe trying to dodge a truck. But as you can see here, this is him, getting lifted down. Unfortunately, there was no aliens in red and white underwear to to pull him out of the cab. No billionaires dressed as a flying creature of some sort popped in. None of that. Just the firefighter with a crane hoisting a guy down, pulling him out of there. Super lucky, dude. That guy probably, inside the cab, he was probably like this, dude. Still like as a, like a cornered rabbit, just as still as a stone inside that cab, dude. Oh my God. Really freaky stuff. Yeah, no, absolutely, Tisrael. Firefighters and ambulance workers are the real superheroes, no doubt about it. It's just, this is right out of Hollywood. This could have easily been a movie set. This exactly as it looks right here. Really frightening stuff. And really lucky. It kind of looks like he might have caught this little platform down here as well. This little stair platform here. That might have saved him right there. Let's hear what this guy has to say. Maybe he'll actually have some insight to what caught the truck here. Yeah, looks like it smashed in, crashed down, and it looks like the body there was snagged right here. And it also looks like it was leveraged up against this pole here.
We got the call at 12:03 that there was a motor vehicle accident on the bridge. Our crews responded, arrived at 12:06, so a 3-minute response time.
Strategy.
They did find a pretty serious wreck that included 2 vehicles plus the semi.
I see. So that's, you know, maybe avoiding some kind of major wreck or something.
2 vehicles were in pretty bad shape. The semi had actually was dangling off of the edge of the 2nd Street Bridge. There was 1 patient that was transported immediately from one of the other vehicles that got down to the hospital. We immediately set up for technical rescue because the driver of the semi was still inside the cab. She was talking to us. We were able to communicate with her.
Yikes.
Obviously shaken up, but she seemed to be stable.
Wow.
Took our crews approximately 40 minutes to set up a rope system, put somebody over the edge, rappel down to her, hook her up with a similar safety harness, and get her back out into safety. And then she was transported just as a precautionary measure to the local hospital.
Hey, it's your boy south of Boston, Lenny. Folks, if you haven't subscribed to Lenny, you're not doing yourself any favors. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on Lenny. Hit that follow for Lenny. Millie Bobby Brown. Good for her. Good for her. But anyway, so I just wanted to open up my U.S. coverage with this absolutely crazy story, and it sounds like people have been critically hurt, which is really terrible. But it does sound like the driver of this truck, who doesn't sound like she was, you know, watch, it'll come out, she was the cause of it, or she's smashing into 2 of them and fucking flying off the bridge. I don't know, but it doesn't sound like she was the cause of this accident. It sounds like she was reacting to it. But if there's a follow-up, I'll definitely let you know. She was like emotionally distraught. So this is a great video here. I think this one's from Woke Patriot. This fella does, I can't remember his name. He's really great though. If you know his name, put it in the chat. But he specializes in going to Republican spaces and, you know, I mean, just, you know, calling them out, you know, various ways. Sometimes directly. Sometimes he does these interviews, you know, trying to be clever. I think this is, you know, I think this is important. But I also feel like this, you know, it's probably not changing any minds, but we need a little levity. And also this gives the left a window into just how serious things have gotten when it comes to the unreality of the right. Yeah. Worry less about the battles in Ukraine than the battles in your cholesterol. Oh my goodness. I do need to work on my weight. I do. Yeah. Do you think I have any kind of effect on Ukraine, even though I'm covering it as closely as possible? But you know, what a loser you would have to be to come into a nobody's chat room. I'm definitely a nobody. Like I'm not even Z level. You know what I mean? I'm not even there yet. And try to spread this propaganda. What, did they kick you out of Destiny's chat, buddy? Yeah, wow. Yeah, how many Russian soldiers died taking Avdiivka, the critical and essential strategic win of Avdiivka? Totally worth it, dude. Totally worth it. Hey, keep it up. Keep it up. I think what was it, you strategy member who calculated that it would actually, if you were to continue that pace of losses, taking each town to get to Kyiv, it would actually take the entire population of Russia to achieve that goal. I think that's cute. So all you have to do is just sacrifice the entire population of Russia, and you'll get there. With that said, Ukraine is right on the cusp of losing the ability to even push offensively. They might have to go into a full defensive position here with the lack of support, and we will be covering that. We will be getting into the Mike Johnson and all that. So let me just go ahead and give this guy the old flushy flush. Possible ban evader. There we go. Thank you so much for your opinions. I like how you put your chubby face as your avatar and you're like making fun of other fat guys. That's really the pot calling the kettle there. He's over here making fun of my weight. He looks like a fucking little cherub baby. All right, so moving on here, like I said, this guy is funny. I don't think it changes any minds, but I do think it's good for the left because it gives the left an idea of just how serious things have become when it comes to the delusion on the right.
What's one of the biggest issues?
Let's get this volume up here. He's asking what's one of the biggest issues affecting you, Mr. and Mrs. Republican.
What's one of the biggest issues for you right now as a voter?
Border security. The border.
The border.
Closing the border. Illegal immigration.
The migrant crisis, how has it affected you personally?
It hasn't.
It hasn't. Okay.
I don't think I've been personally affected yet. They haven't overwhelmed my little small town. They haven't affected my work yet or anything like that. However, it's affected me thinking that it's possible there could be terrorists coming through.
Yeah, no terrorists. And by the way, Morning Joe agrees with this narrative of terrorists and fentanyl coming across the border. He literally says it every single day. Morning Joe's supposed to be a leftist, is why I bring that up.
Migrant crisis in this country. Has anyone personally been affected by it?
We all are personally affected by it.
Oh, good. Do you have a good story about it? We're trying to get one person to like tell us their personal.
I don't have a direct story. But
Okay, direct story. Here we go.
I know.
What are you looking for?
We're looking for someone with a personal story about the migrant crisis or the border.
No, no.
No one.
Hey, I'll tell you something. I'm from Canada. It took me a half hour to cross the border legally.
You guys know this guy?
No. I can show you my driver's
Okay,
license.
I mean, we should vet him.
There's my health card. Coming across legally takes you forever. They
God, this is so pathetic. This is so. Oh, sorry, that's super loud. Sorry, I had to bring. The volume of this is really low. I won't do that again. This is so pathetic. As an American trying to come into Canada, let me tell you, you don't want Trumpism. You don't want MAGAism. In this country, you absolutely do not want that. And Pierre Poilievre, thankfully, while there's definitely some emulation, there's definitely some comparisons. The Conservative Party in Canada is a far cry right now. There's a big difference between the U.S. Republican Party, which has almost completed its transformation into a fully fascist, pro-MAGA, ultra-MAGA style party. We'll see who takes over as speaker. Once Mitch McConnell dissolves into the ether. But God, this is so pathetic. Yeah, Davey, hope is basically all we have because the Democrats have put a real humdinger of an AG in charge with Merrick Garland. He's getting it done.
They grill you.
They grill you? Like
They grill
really
you?
intense?
Yeah. They grill you. Want to know what you know? Open the trunk, open the windows. Let's see what's in the car. I'm just a middle-class Canadian, and they're giving me crap.
Has anyone here been?
Yeah, so that's just normal border operations. It was probably all the Trump flags, and his car is covered in a bunch of pro-American Trump stuff, which makes the Canadian border guards itchy because it's like, does this guy have guns? So you're more likely to get flagged, probably. But I've had the border guards. I don't have any Trump shit on my car. And I've had the border guards inspect my vehicle, and it can happen at random as well. Just kind of normal border stuff. And he's, oh yeah, taking my rights, and I want to implement a Trump-style dictatorship in my country so that I can take your rights. Usual shit.
Personally affected by the migrant
Trumpism
crisis?
should be treated as extremism. Yeah.
Anyone?
How many of you care about a strong southern border? Huh?
Strong southern border.
Yes.
Strong. It's got to be
What's
strong.
happened to you?
Well, nothing personally.
Have you been
No, nothing personal, man. Wow.
By the migrant crisis?
Not so far.
And this is the
Not so
number
far.
one issue.
Wow. It's the number one issue, though.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, that's without it. Oh, Jesus, with the volume. I'm so sorry with that. I forgot TikTok does that. I had to turn it way up because the volume was super low. It's number one issue. Number one issue. Why is it? Why does he say that? Because that's what his media tells him to say. Right now, the Republicans can't talk about the economy. Sorry. Super, super low volume and then crazy loud fucking ending. What can I do about this, okay? There's no professionalism in any production whatsoever. I got to implement this fucking noise gate on my fucking thing, though, okay? It's next. I'm not going to hit start stream tomorrow until I've implemented a noise gate on my fucking, on my stream. Yeah. My God, man. What? Just stop wasting your fucking time. Stop. You won't. I will. I'm going to do it. It's not like I support the EU or NATO specifically or the U.S. military-industrial complex, but the devil I'd rather deal with is NATO and the United States than Russia. You know, I'd rather deal with the United States and NATO than Russia and China as the dominant global power. There's a fealty to democracy, to even the appearance of democracy in the United States that is not respected by China or Russia. That really bothers me. Democracy is kind of a joke to the leaders of China and Russia. And I still feel like there's some shreds of decency, respect for democracy somewhere in the U.S. government. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Because it's not like NATO and the EU are perfect institutions that, are really representing the best of humanity and what does cooperation between humanity look like? It's like, well, they're imperfect. The USA still has a chance to remain that beacon to a degree. I think there's a shred of chance that, because the reason why Donald Trump exists is because democracy exists in the United States. The only entity stupid enough to put Donald Trump in charge is the American people. Okay, so there's still a chance, but it requires progressives, to take control, to shamelessly take control. I mean, it's so funny to me when you look at how effective these 8 or 9 extreme right-wing extremists have been with negotiations, right? The budget deal, etc. All these things. They got the entire U.S. government wrapped around their finger. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, look at what the power of political leverage, look at the change you can implement with political leverage, right? Joe Biden over here passing Heritage Fund immigration bills. Fully right-wing. There's nothing left-wing about what Joe Biden wanted to pass about immigration. Criminalizing people right there at the border, kicking them, men, women, and children, not allowing them in. Some of the most draconian right-wing immigration policy. And how was that? It was a compromise to these 8 or 9 extremists. And I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, what would a progressive 8 or 9, group of real progressives really standing their ground look like? Would they be transforming the Democratic Party as we speak into something more progressive as the old guard dies and falls away to be replaced by the new? No, what we see right now with AOC and whatever you would call with the squad there is capitulation, basically biding their time, showing respect to the institutions that they should be challenging directly. So here's a clear sign that people are sick of it, but like we needed to know that, but it's nice to see this. Joe Biden loses to uncommitted in Dearborn, Michigan by over 1,000 votes. So, of course, Joe Biden won Michigan, won the nomination in Michigan handily. The numbers were overwhelming. But in Dearborn, Michigan, which has a very high Arab population, uncommitted won over Joe Biden. And there's a lot of punditry discussion around, well, how bad is this going to affect Joe Biden's election? How bad is this going to affect election? And it seems like it is going to make a dent. The fact is that abortion is going to hurt the Republicans. Of course, the January 6th and the trial, the circus is going to hurt the Republicans. Will voter apathy and Gaza, kind of equalize that for the Democrats? Your guess is as good as mine. Check 538 for the updates. MSNBC sponsored 538 numbers. God, that was a joke. That was such a joke. Well, yeah, we think it's going to be Hillary. We think it's going to be Hillary. So Trailhead thinks Biden is going to win easily. Well, mail-in voting. Interesting. Well, I sure hope you're one of those votes, Trailhead. Listen to Michigan sent out 650K texts and made 500K calls leading up to that election. Interesting, Davin. So a lot of this had to do with, and voting uncommitted, when full well Joe Biden is going to get the nomination, that's a really easy thing to do, right? Because it's symbolic. You're not going to harm the overall party. I'm definitely not. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. All right. I don't really want to have a discussion about why we need to be voting anymore, okay? Please find a different stream that respects that kind of just ridiculous. I mean, the bare bottom minimum is voting, okay? And if you can't crawl your fucking ass out of your fucking life to take the time to do it, what can I say, man? You fully embraced nihilism. You're okay. And look, I get it. Shit sandwich, douche. I get it. We are dealing with an existential crisis in the United States. We are dealing with the end of democracy, aka the end of liberty, the end of choice. Matt Gaetz is all too happy to make choices for you about what you can do with your body, about what companies can poison you, about how much things cost, the equity designed into the system. Ted Cruz has all kinds of opinions. Mike Johnson has all kinds of opinions about how the Bible can be better integrated into your day-to-day life. If that isn't enough to get you motivated to vote, then I'm just sorry. I'm just not really that interested in having a discussion. Okay? Enjoy the lap of luxury while it still exists. Because it is actually falling apart. It is really actually happening. There really is actually a fucking fascist dictatorship attempting to dissolve democracy. And yes, it will actually affect you. You got the time to come into my chat, waste everyone's time, talking about all kinds of stuff, and then proudly say, I'm not voting. Majority of Democrat voters in Dearborn, Michigan voted uncommitted over Palestine. Hey, come on. Some people are trying to read this. Uncommitted over President Joe Biden due to his handling of Israel's war in Gaza. The uncommitted vote in Dearborn was 56%, while Biden received 40%. The Listen to Michigan campaign encouraged voters to select uncommitted to pressure Biden for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Michigan has the largest concentration of Arab Americans in the nation, influencing the vote. Dearborn Mayor Abdullah Hammoud voted uncommitted and encouraged others to do the same. What did Rashida Tlaib say? The first Palestinian American woman in Congress also supported the campaign. She, by the way, she's the character that convinced the Squad to allow the infrastructure bill to be passed separately from Build Back Better, and that was a big roaring success. Because Build Back Better was passed soon afterwards, right? Just as she promised. She did a big media tour. Oh, it just needs to happen. We got to pass something. We got to pass this infrastructure bill. Yeah, it's just we got to separate it. We got to separate it. It's okay. We're gonna get Build Back Better done. No problem. No problem. Thanks, Rashida. Capitulating with the neoliberal DNC has been such a roaring success for the Squad. Biden did not acknowledge the uncommitted effort, instead promoting what his administration has done for the people of Michigan. Yeah, it was just a bog standard speech. And there was some like kind of underhanded shaming, right? Voter shaming, which has worked so well for the neoliberals in the past, right? You know, neoliberals telling you, oh, well, if you don't vote for us and our terrible policies and our, Band-Aid solutions, well, you'll just get fascism. Don't expect better. We're not even going to bother promising better anymore. We're just going to do that Hillary strategy, right? Yeah, well, you can kind of, just kind of set expectations right from the get-go. No, I'm not really going to make big promises. Obama was able to get away with it really well because he was able to give us this false sense of hope, right? So it's empty words. We kind of like in our head, oh, well, these things I care about, and Obama's progressive sounding language just sounds like he cares about these things. Hillary just threw that out. She knew she wasn't going to inspire everybody. She was just like, expect less. Yeah. Woo. I'm going to lean to the right and you're going to love it. And Joe Biden just kind of keeps that going, but without, with just aviators and ice cream fucking theatrics. So, we got to talk about Merrick Garland. How Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, who put Jack Smith in charge, is seemingly sheltering Trump. And this is Joe Biden's pick. So, even after all the rhetoric from the DNC, from the left, from the neoliberals about how Trump is a threat to democracy and it's legitimate, it's real, it seems like they don't actually take their own rhetoric seriously about how dangerous these theocratic fascists are. They're seemingly just using this pathetically as a fundraising technique, just like how they handled abortion. They don't seem to be taking this seriously. Merrick Garland, who put Jack Smith in charge, is now visibly shocked as Eileen Cannon, who was probably picked by Mitch McConnell and then put in charge by Trump, doubles down on her order that he calls a clear error, and the order is to release a bunch of documents which would release the names of a bunch of people who are being kept private for their own safety, because as soon as these names are released, a bunch of Steve Bannon listening Nick Fuentes fans are going to be tracking these people down, and it's already happened. It's already happened with people whose names have been released. Those two black women, election officials that Rudy Giuliani says was passing around USB drives like heroin vials. I believe they recently won a massive lawsuit. But Jack Smith visibly shocked. I had no idea the Trump-appointed judge was going to be this biased. Guys, and okay, look, does Jack Smith have no recourse here? Is he just at the whim? Would you fucking believe, Jack, there's a process for getting rid of Eileen Cannon that has not been initiated? Would you believe that? that there's a fucking process to get rid of this woman that Jack Smith could have initiated, and he hasn't? Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, Jack Smith, complicit. Complicit. Complicit in allowing Trump to corrupt our system. She's actually already been called out twice by the apparently extremely conservative Fifth Circuit Court of Judges, whatever the fuck that means. But she's already been called out for extreme bias, and her decision twice. Her decisions have been reversed because of the clear bias that she had when making them. Jack Smith, who was put into charge by Merrick Garland, who was put into charge by Joe Biden. And let me tell you, Trump talks about this. He's like, as soon as I get into charge, I'm going to put an AG who literally loves to drink my semen. Okay? I'm going to put in an AG that literally tattoos his face orange. Okay? And they're going to go after all my political enemies. Joe Biden over here seemingly putting another Republican. This is just like Robert Mueller, who was a Republican right-winger, who somehow did an investigation that said, yeah, well, they're guilty of crimes, but we're not going to go after them. Oh, you think Holsky? You think so? That's interesting. Sam Cedar says, chose to appease Mitch McConnell. We're still appeasing these people? We're still reaching across the aisle and talking about bipartisanship? After a coup attempt? So if you want to read this whole fucking article, it's right here. I'm sure there's more details that I got wrong. I don't have time to read it because I'm illiterate. There you go. People in the comment section here on the Reddit, you know, just pointing out, you know, the arguments about Merrick Garland here. Time for Jack Smith to ask the 11th Circuit to remove Judge Cannon. See, I mean, he has recourse. He can remove her. He can start a process to say, look, she's so clearly biased. Sam highlights a Fox News segment that suggests Merrick a Supreme Court nominee that it believes convinced the White House and would be, oh my God. This isn't a fucking joke, man. This isn't time to play these games right now. This isn't a joke. It's an existential crisis for the neoliberals themselves. What do they think? What do they think that when the Trump dictatorship starts, that the neoliberals are somehow going to have a fucking role to play? Kind of impressive and rather horrible that a single presidential term, Trump was able to appoint enough inept and corrupt judges to essentially break the American justice system. And then someone pointing out that this was all Mitch McConnell's idea. 11th Circle appeal incoming, question mark. There's no ruling yet. Give her 10 to 14 months. It takes time deciding to trade her while the public is watching. Jesus. Wow, man. The Supreme Court just emboldened every single conservative judge and lawmaker. It's only going to get worse. Vote, people. Yeah, do more than vote. Get involved. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You need to embrace political activism. It's really not enough to vote, but for the love of God, at the very least, vote. Right? And it's really not gonna matter until we get. It's not gonna matter as much as it should until we really get ranked choice voting. You know, we're not going to get ranked choice voting from a neoliberal. I'll tell you that. So if we want ranked choice voting, we have to primary neoliberals with progressives who actually mean it. Progressives that would actually implement ranked choice voting, that would actually reform our electoral college. Never going to get it from the neoliberals, and you're of course never going to get it from the fascistic Republicans who seem to be benefiting from it. Like a lot of fascist movements, they benefit from the loopholes within democracy. So because Merrick Garland, real quick, because Merrick Garland is the top, I just wanted to show this here. I'm not going to play this, but this is a 12-minute video from Joy-Ann Reid, well-known progressive, weapon against progressivism, who gladly weaponized herself in the benefit for a loser candidate, Hillary Clinton, who should not be on TV, who should have been shamed out of a journalistic career, presented front and center and proudly by MSNBC. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, she was stone cold, caught, busted, helping out Hillary Clinton. Whatever, huh? But here she does 12 whole minutes about how the justice system goes after, how the Supreme Court is quick to respond when it needs to, and how the justice system goes after all kinds of criminals, black and white, and and the justice system's willing to go after the January 6th, the lower, the schmucks that actually invaded, but none of the suits. So she does this whole 12 minutes, does this interview with 3 other schmucks. Not a single mention of Merrick Garland. Not a single mention of the neoliberal strategy of how Robert Mueller failed and Merrick Garland is a failure and Jack Smith doesn't appear to be performing where he should be. And Fannie Willis being the only one that was actually effective, of course, now, and this was part of Joy-Ann Reid's thing here about how Fannie Willis, seemingly the Justice Department, the justice system going all over Fannie Willis now for having a personal relationship that doesn't even affect the case. Of course, it was a mistake for her to pick that prosecutor that she had a personal relationship with. But does a whole 12 minutes about how the justice system, the 2-tier justice system and all that. And you don't have time to bring up Merrick Garland. I mean, the MSNBC and CNN and all these other networks, man, the assumption is that the neoliberal strategy is the right one. Yeah, we'll get a verdict on Fannie within 2 weeks. But anyway, I just wanted to point this out. 12 whole minutes, and I see this all the time, every single day, talking about pointing out the inadequacies, pointing out the problems, but refusing to call out the party in charge. Oh, well, then that might be, it's an election year, and oh no, you're supposed to be journalists. You're not supposed to be beholden to the election. You're supposed to be giving us information and critique and context regardless of the time frame. Oh, well, it's an election season. We got to protect them. And I get that, because we are in an existential crisis against fascism here. But save that for the partisans. This is not labeled as opinion. You know what I mean? This is presented to us as unbiased journalistic information. And it is so clearly one-sided, man. We got to talk about Merrick Garland, dude. How many years? It took him 2 years to even get the ball rolling. 2 years, man. So yeah, Trump, I'm not going to show this. I just wanted to show these videos, just show you how long these are. 12-minute video, 12-minute segments. Yahoo, all college educated, all this shit. They got all this time to talk about all this shit, but they're not talking about the real, the people that are actually in charge that could actually do something about it. They, where is the 12-minute video about Jack Smith not going after Eileen Cannon? I do hear mentions of it here and there, but where is the every single day Jack Smith update? Hey, Jack Smith, are you going to do your job? Jack Smith, help us out. When is Jack Smith going to get replaced with someone competent? Right? Oh, we can't do that. That's like an attack against the neoliberals. Since an election season, we can't do that. We got a side to pick. But yeah, no, Donald Trump asking Judge Cannon to push classified documents trial back. She likely will. I'm sorry in advance. We got Morning Joe. Very appropriate to use the toilet flush because I'm usually watching his show while I'm on the shitter. But this is important. This Carlo Lozada has, I believe, put out a book or did an article. Because he went through Project 2025. He went through this plan to implement American dictatorship, regardless of what happens with Trump. Right, the plan moving forward. And he gives us some highlights here. Unfortunately, they dropped the ball. They shift to some other topic. It's like they don't even take. They only spend 7 minutes on this. By the way, Morning Joe is on for like 6 hours a day. But yeah, so they don't even spend the whole 7 minutes on, on Project 2025, which is just insane. But I wanted to show it here. Sorry for the Morning Joe. One of the reasons why I show Morning Joe is, like it or not, I know this isn't you, but there are millions of normies who watch this shit. They watch this shit every day. I know it seems impossible, but it's true. They do. If the left wants to create political change, we have to understand and embrace the mainstream. Therefore, we need to understand the normie. Therefore, we have to watch normie shit sometimes, okay? Not going to be majority report every single time. So I'm sorry in advance. But like I said, this is important. This is about Project 2025. Mainstream audiences are getting information about this. This is important. And of course, what are the neoliberals doing? Fundraising. Is there a real plan to stop this? No. We're just going to kind of do the same thing and hope for the best.
Winning opinion columnist at the New York Times, Carlos Lozada. His new book is entitled The Washington Book, How to Read Politics and Politicians. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, let's...
So that's what they do half the interview about the important shit, then they cut to his fucking book.
Talk about Trump's second-term plans if reelected. We're getting hints of what it could look like from the Heritage Foundation and their Project 2025. And Carlos, you read all 887 pages of the goals. What did you learn?
So there's a lot of rhetoric, both in the book and coming out of Trump's allies in the right, about deconstructing the administrative state. Right? We have to take down the federal bureaucracy. What I found in this book is that really, rather than deconstructing the administrative state, the folks who are developing this plan, this kind of project for a new conservative president, want to harness the administrative state. They want. So
that's really interesting here. That from his opinion, that it's not because Steve Bannon's talking about we're going to gut it, we're going to just drain the swamp and all this stuff. But no, the actual plan does seem to be about. Of course, there's going to be a lot of cuts and lots of firing, but it's really going to be about harnessing the power of the federal government and taking that over. Less about gutting it it's almost like that idea of the bleeding to heal yourself, right?
And this kind of project for a new conservative president want to harness the administrative state. They want to use it, redirect it for their own political purposes. So, and this is not some kind of conspiratorial theory. It's just what I learned from reading the book that they published.
And so, Carlos, let's talk about it because, the first go around, it seems to me that Donald Trump stumbled and was his worst enemy at times.
Yeah, incompetence saved us.
I always joked, it was sort of gallows humor, but I said if we had to have Nazis in the White House, I'm glad it was Hogan's Heroes. The Nazis and Hogan's Heroes. This time, they're coming,
Lenny,
they're ready, and they want to do what Steve Bannon promised back in 2016, tear down the state. That's what he said. He said, I'm a Leninist. I want to tear down the state. Looks like they're preparing to do just that.
Well, you're right. The book is an implicit, the existence of the book is an implicit admission that at least the early period of the first Trump presidency didn't go well. There was a lot of kind of chaos and mayhem, and so they want to have an army, as they call it, of committed, trained, prepared conservatives to go in on day one and introduce their priorities. And so, but what I would emphasize that it's not really about tearing down the state, as I think redirecting the state.
Exactly.
They want to take agencies, for instance, that provide relief funds and redirect those toward areas that will support their voters. They want to take data analysis and research and have it focused on conservative priorities. So I think that the rhetoric of dismantling the state, at least according to this book, is really not quite what they intend to do.
So let's talk about your book now.
Yeah, let's not talk about your book, Mika. Well, you got Jesus. They took only 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes, Mika. It's a bigger problem, Joe. It's a bigger problem. Look, why do you got to give him so much time to plug his book? Maybe the interview goes back into 2020, Project 2025. Maybe it does. I don't know. I stopped watching, and that's where we're going to stop here. Because we got America's #1 favorite news segment, folks. It's the mass shooting update. All right, folks, let's see how many people died in the United States today due to terrible gun laws. 82 U.S. mass shootings since 2024, 5,973 mass shootings since 2013, and 1 whole day since the last mass shooting. Thank you so much. Good guys with guns protecting us, keeping us safe. Over there in Houston, Texas, land of the chopped and the screwed, 0 dead and 4 injured, suspects unidentified, 2 at large. Well, I'm sure the guns were legal, and I'm sure the conflict, whatever they were arguing about was worthy of lethal violence. Adams Cove, Colorado, 0 dead and 4 injured. Suspects injured, 2 in custody. Over there in Pembroke, North Carolina, 2 dead and 5 injured. Preliminary conflicting reports on the number of victims. Gunman unknown. Wow, so bullets just sprayed everywhere. You have no idea how many people even got hit. Over there in Independence, Missouri, and nothing says independence like getting shot for absolutely no fucking reason, right? Over there in Independence, Missouri, 2 dead and 2 injured. Victim fatalities, OFC, Cody Allen and Drexel Mack. Suspect, Larry Dean Acer, 69. Wow. 69-year-old was able to injure 2 and kill 2 others. Over there in Orlando, Florida, 1 dead and 6 injured. Victim fatalities, James William III, 21. Suspect, Wayne Arthur Grant Jr. Well, hey, a little bit of silver lining. I don't see a family annihilation on this list. Hey, no dad decided to kill his entire family and off himself in the middle of the living room. All right, folks, thank you so much. Garbage Hill would like to thank you for watching the mass shooting update. Garbage Hill would like to remind you that none of this is going to change. This is your new normal. Walking into a hospital. I mean, hell, you're walking into the church. You're walking into your job. You're going to a 4th of July event, going to a Christmas event, going to a country music concert. Who knows? Who knows when the next massacre could hit? Hey, there was even a video game tournament a couple of years ago. Remember that one? Guy died holding a controller, I believe. There you go, folks. Garbage Fuel. I'd like to thank you so much. Mass shooting update. Yay. Okay. Moving on, and obviously we have a lot more stories here for the U.S. I don't have time to cover them. We're going to move on to Gaza. Come to independence where you can be randomly freed from the shackles of your own mortality. Hey, that's good. Freed from the shackles of your mortal coil. So things are getting better. Hey, yeah, maybe. Glass half full. No family annihilation event last week, huh? Not bad. So speaking of family annihilation, here are some Israelis enjoying what they consider victory. These appear to be Israeli women taking a social media selfie of some sort with the destroyed future of the Palestinian people in the background, something that they seem to be very proud of. She's doing a duck face. Couldn't be happier. Big smile here. It looks like they're not normal soldiers of some sort. Like they're not very used to wearing their helmets and whatnot. They must be like, you know, not on the front lines, right? Totally normal. Magical moments, guys. Absolutely. Welcome back, Ice King. Of course, we have to talk about this. Absolutely tragic. I guess I should make a statement here similar to what the Majority Report statement made, but obviously I don't agree with this. But it's weird because I obviously I don't agree with setting yourself on fire. I don't think that's a good thing to do. I don't necessarily disagree with it though, because it is a very strong statement. And he definitely did die from this. The image here shows him on fire, but the video shows him pouring the liquid directly on his face, down his entire body. He was screaming "Free Palestine" as he fell to the ground and died from his injuries. Here he is right here. Aaron Bushnell, an active duty airman who, who has a bigger conscience than any of us here. Who really meant it. He did it. He explicitly did it. He was very calm in the social media. He did a Twitch stream. He was very calm in the video, talking about how, some might see his action as extreme, but compared to the devastation happening in Gaza, it's not that extreme. And and when you think about over 10,000 children dead, I want you to picture that. Where would you put them? What would that pile even look like? Would you fill a stadium? Would you be disgusted after the first 1,000 or the second 1,000, the third 1,000? Would you still be making excuses for the United States and Israel after the 50th truckload of dead children shows up to add to the pile? I don't think people... the reason why I say these things, because I think people, reflexively, just as a defense mechanism, they try... When they hear things like this, 10,000 plus dead kids, probably 13,000, I think I've heard the estimate. They just, their brain doesn't show them, And when I think of dead kids, I think of the concentration camp footage that I've seen and other war footage that I've seen. I don't get to hide from those images. But a lot of people who have not seen these images, they get to hide from them. So that's why I ask you to sometimes visualize it, just so you can truly understand the scope of the horror. If you were in the same room as a single dead child, right? How would that even affect you? Regardless of the circumstances, just being in the same room as one. Now imagine over 10,000 of them, let alone the men and women who also died. He made the ultimate sacrifice to make this clear, and apparently he is the second person that has self-immolated over this issue. There was also a really striking photo. I wish I had it. Maybe you can find it for me if someone in the chat can find this, but there's an image of the police holding a gun. He's on the ground dying and burning. Oh, here we go, Trailhead. You gonna give me your justification for why you can't find the time to crawl your ass to the fucking voting booth or fill out a little paper form and put it in the mailbox? Is that what you're gonna do, Trailhead? You think I really want to hear that? You triggered me, Trailhead. I'm triggered. But no, there's a really crazy photo of a cop, pointing a gun at this guy who's curled up, burning to death. Which is the, that's the SOP, standard operating procedure for cops. Get your gun out. Stop what you're doing. Stop or I'll kill you. To a guy who's killing himself. It's their only response. It's literally their only response. I wish I had that photo. But it's shocking. So, of course, there's a lot of news in the last week coming out of Gaza. This is now being coined the Flower Massacre. So the intentional starvation of the Palestinians in Gaza is this is the result of this intentional starvation, of course, going after UNRWA and the United States being right along. Yep, no problem. We totally support that. We're going to stop funding UNRWA immediately without question. No investigation necessary. We'll just take your word for it. So now, of course, we have Jordan, other Arab countries. I have footage. We're going to show it. And then, of course, the United States as well, dropping food. I mean, you know, honestly, the Joe Biden administration has, and it's you know, they've done such a terrible job. They're so contradictory. They don't. It's clear to me that they don't know what to do. That this situation has gotten out of control. They are in a rock and a hard place. They feel, you know, if they were to punish Israel, that would hurt them at the polls. If they, keep supplying stuff to Israel, that's going to hurt them at the polls. So I guess they're like, well, there's more Jewish people than there are Arab people. There you go. It's all about the election. This has nothing to do about human beings. This is all about Joe Biden's election. And I think the food drops and the statements without any action, you know, Joe Biden wagging his finger, John Kirby wagging his finger, oh, you better stop it, Netanyahu. We don't like that. I think that's them, you know, doing the bare minimum PR to try and maybe convince a couple Arab people, you know. But I think the calculation is that, well, if, you know, there's more pro-Israel, you know, Jewish people, pro-Zionist people, not exactly Jewish and Zionism, not exactly the same thing. I shouldn't associate the two, but you know what I mean? There's enough pro-Israeli people that, you know, to make that a political non-starter. It's crazy to me, you know, and it's looking back at Ukraine and how they handled Ukraine. They, you know, and I said this about the Tories, it really does feel like this about the neoliberals. They're just on autopilot, you know, and I feel like they actually don't know what to do. They don't feel like they're in charge. They don't feel like they're in command. Yeah, Biden saying that he's a Zionist. Yeah, that is interesting. But he's ancient enough to be the kind of Zionist because he doesn't want Jews in the U.S. That's what he's saying. Doesn't want Jews? What? But he is ancient enough to be the kind of Zionist that is a Zionist because he doesn't want Jews in the U.S.? You think Joe Biden is anti-Semitic and doesn't want Jewish people in the U.S.? What? I'm not going to read the rest. Anyway, this is being dubbed the Flower Massacre. Like I said, this is the intentional starvation of the Palestinians. And this is what happened. The aid convoy was... it happens to all the aid convoys. They get mugged, and people start climbing on the truck and pulling stuff off it because they're starving. And apparently, the Israeli military just opened up on them, Fallujah style. Over 100 people shot and killed. And there's images of, you know, it's probably one of the most striking images I've seen this year. Dead people on the aid, so on the truck that was carrying aid is now, you know, covered in flour, and there's dead bloody people being piled onto these trucks that were once carrying aid, and now they're carrying dead bodies to a cemetery or morgue or something. So here's the Israelis opening up fire on unarmed civilians. They said they felt in danger, like it matters to them. So apparently these were not warning shots. These were, you know, going into the crowd. So let me get my filter up here really quick. There we go. So yeah, this is being dubbed the Flower Massacre. As you can see here, people. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, but there's actually dead bodies all over right now. Total chaos. There's the aid trucks right there. I think they're getting swamped. Look, they know these people know that there's not enough for everybody. It's first come, first serve. You're starving. Have you ever starved? Have you ever been legitimately hungry? I have a few times in my life. And you know, without the means to sustain yourself. You're hungry, you want food, you can't get it. Have you ever been in that situation? I have just a few times in my life when I was younger. You get a little desperate. Things get a little hairy. There's footage from the Flower Massacre that I can show you. There's definitely lots of footage, you know, because this was very early in the morning, and then once the sun rose, the true extent of the damage was seen. Over 100 dead Palestinians. Honestly, traumatic. I think about it all the time. Wow, 3 days, 1 can of tuna. So, yeah, I don't think Joe Biden is anti-Semitic, but I do think he's a monster, and I do think his administration is made up of a bunch of little ghoulish monsters. Here is Miller, Matt Miller. Matt Miller, representative of the U.S. government, Joe Biden administration here. Just joking around. I mean, telling bald-faced lies. And you'll see what I mean. You'll see, this lie is so outrageous, it's unbelievable. It was so outrageous. The journalist in the room made a comment, and everybody started laughing, including this idiot. This video, this 50-second video, shows you just how serious they're taking this existential crisis for Palestine. This is what's coming out of the Joe Biden administration. This is really something else. This should be a national scandal. Of course it won't be, but it should be. Joe Biden, Morning Joe should do a 40-minute. They won't.
We're ready to work with them on how to achieve that vision.
But you have so many tools. Just my last follow-up, sorry. But you have so much leverage over the Israelis, and this is fundamental vision of the president. So you can use all the leverage you want, including weapons that you sell to Israel, to make sure that this plan is at least on the right path for implementation, considering we have short time between now and November.
So she's pointing out, hey, you guys supplying the weapons, you guys are, have massive leverage over the Israeli government. Everyone knows this. You brag about how much you support them. Yearly $50 billion aid packages. 40% of the Israeli military donated from the United States, and then of course the logistics support, the air, the AWACS, the satellites, all that stuff. Proud partnership of the U.S. military and the Israeli military. Proud partnership that they're glad to brag about in any other context. Listen to what this slimy son of a bitch says about how America functions. I mean, it is so far from reality, it will shock you.
One thing I will say about that people often tend to forget is that Israel, like other countries in the region, is a sovereign country that makes its own decisions. The United States does not dictate to Israel what it must do, just as we don't dictate to any country what it must do. We present what we believe are the...
Journalist just said, unless you invade them.
Present what we believe are the...
And then everyone in the fucking room starts laughing.
Good one, Matt.
Including him. It's not funny, dude. It's not even remotely close to true what you just said. Oh, the United States doesn't involve ourselves in the affairs of other countries. With a smile, sleeps like a baby with $1 million paycheck. And he tries to laugh it off and make a joke. Oh, you know, but oh, really? Seriously, though? Seriously, no. Seriously, we respect the sovereignty of other countries.
Good one, Matt. We present. No, I mean, but come on. Yeah, we present stand ready to work with them.
Then he says, "Oh, stand up." You know, like it's stand up hour. You know what? Just... I mean, it's. Nobody disrespects other country's sovereignty more than the United States. And here they, you know, oh, I mean, contrary to popular belief, didn't you know the United States doesn't get involved in other countries' affairs? Israel is a totally sovereign country and makes decisions independent. That's true. Oh, but in response to saying you don't, so you have no political leverage. So that's the Biden administration saying, yeah. That's in God's hands, Yahweh. We don't. Oh, you know, we don't leverage our immense power to get what we want on the global. The United States, we don't do that. We are not like other countries. We're better than everybody, buddy. Right? We're better than everybody. We don't invade other countries.
I will say about that people often tend to forget is that Israel, like other countries in the region, is a sovereign country that makes its own decisions. The United States does not dictate to Israel what it must do, just as we don't dictate to any country what it must do.
Just as we don't, Kem Goblin, the representative for the United States saying, we don't tell other countries what to do. We don't dictate Vietnam, Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan. You know, and then of course the pushback against Russia and China, some of it justified, some of it not so justified. I mean, to Israel, right? Maybe I was getting a little out of hand. I don't know. So this is interesting. The Palestinian prime minister and government resign. They did this to get out of the way and allow for technocrats to come in and implement a government. So this is interesting to see them do this, because it, you know, I really hope I'm wrong about this. I've said it a lot, and I'll say it again. It does not appear that Israel is interested in giving back the Gaza Strip. With that said, there are some interesting logistical things that are happening that make it seem like that is, you know, part of the process, that, you know, that it's in the works. I have my doubts. I really do think that it's Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir kind of, doing what they usually do with the two-state solution, which is like, oh yeah, no, we really, we think about it. I mean, Bibi Netanyahu, of course, famously hates the two-state solution, and he was like, he's one of the biggest critics of it. But with that said, he's happy to string along Western governments about the two-state solution, having vague comments and allusions to maybe him supporting it. So it's kind of the same thing. I think that's what we're seeing here, where Israel is like, oh yeah, no, yeah, let's get that ball rolling. Let's start the process of building a technocratic government that could take over in the Gaza Strip, after we've removed Hamas. So I think that's what we're seeing here, and I think that's and this is the Palestinian minister here in the Palestinian government. I mean, it's a rock and a hard place, right? Because if they don't do this, they're going to be seen as an obstruction, and they'll be, you know, vilified by Israel, and, you know, it doesn't matter what the reason is. They're you know, they said, well, no, we're not going to, you know, not until we actually think Israel is serious are we going to do this. So they don't want to be seen as an obstacle to it, but it's like I said, I'm not convinced that Israel is interested in giving back the Gaza Strip to the Palestinians. I would really love to be proven wrong on that.
Also presented a plan for evacuating civilians from the areas of fighting in Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says the IDF presented the war cabinet with an upcoming operational plan.
But it doesn't specifically mention the southern Gaza city of Rafah, where Israel has been planning a potential ground offensive. This comes as talks are expected to resume in Qatar today to try to secure the release of more hostages in Gaza in exchange for a pause in the fighting. Journalist Elliot Gotkin joins us. Let's start with those hostage talks then.
So
because
So this is kind of old news, so I don't want to get into this, but I just wanted to show you, you know, just show you that, you know, that update about the Palestinian Prime Minister. It's so ridiculous that Joe Biden put himself out on a limb talking about how I think the negotiations are, you know, they're just a couple more days and we're going to have a full hostage release and a ceasefire. And maybe in this segment that I'm going to skip here, they do get into it, but I've watched hours and hours and hours of corporate news, and they never get into the details of the negotiation. Israel is and tell me if you sitting there, sitting in a seat, you know, let's role play for a second. You're the representative from Hamas, right? You're the head of Hamas. I know, terrible. Okay, let's get over that for a second. Let's just pretend. You're the head of Hamas. You're negotiating a ceasefire. Israel comes to you and says, you need to give us all your political leverage, release all the hostages. And then in 6 weeks, we're going to re-engage our war against you. The ceasefire will be over, and it's war against Hamas. Once again, you get a 6-week breather for giving up all of your political leverage. Would you, sitting there, whoever you are, say, that's a good deal. I'm going to make that deal. I'm going to give you all my political leverage. The only thing preventing my complete annihilation, it's not really preventing their complete annihilation, but that's the idea, right? Gives you something. For a 6-week break, and then it's back to it. That's the deal being presented. That's the deal that Joe Biden said, oh, yeah, we're a couple days away from completing this deal. Who in the fucking right mind would take that deal? Who? Look, and I get it. The other bit of leverage that Israel has over Hamas is, of course, this, you know, campaign of total annihilation. Fact is, though, is that Israel can you know, go all the way through Rafah. Hamas will still exist. In fact, what I predict will happen is that Israel is going to complete this campaign. God knows what will happen to the people that are in Rafah, but they'll complete this military campaign of occupation and annihilation of the entire Gaza Strip, north to south. And then, you know, Hamas is going to do some big terrorist, you know, some big attack north of Gaza or in Israel. And they're, yep, Hamas did this. We're still here. We still exist. Because you can't destroy terrorism from the barrel of a gun. It doesn't work that way. Terrorism is an ideology. Terrorism is a response to oppression sometimes. And in the case that's the case here. Hamas wouldn't exist if Palestinian people were allowed to live in peace. And there's so many racists that would say, the moment you give Palestinians peace, they're going to start plotting the destruction of Israel. That's actually bigoted. That's actually incredibly bigoted and racist. You know, we can't. There's a certain type of human being born in a certain region where you just can't give them peace and harmony like every other human being deserves. You got to treat them differently. Like an alien species on your own planet, they don't deserve human rights. Can't give them peace and security because they'll take advantage of it to stage an invasion. So the kind of the theme of today's stream is or today's Gaza section is protests. We're seeing a lot of protests happening all over for various reasons, and I'm going to show a few. Happening now, thousands in Washington, D.C. surround the Israeli embassy, the same location as Aaron Bushnell self-immolated exactly 1 week ago, to demand an end to the Biden and Israel's genocide. So people responding to Aaron Bushnell's self-immolation here, doing a march to free Palestine.
A representative from...
So go ahead and point out the pro-Hamas supporters in this, because, you know, everyone likes to say, oh, it's a pro-Hamas march, all these people chanting free Palestine. They just want the destruction of Israel. Go ahead and point out those specific folks who hate Israel and are pro-Hamas versus the folks that are just there because they don't like to see one country destroy another. Other people seem to be really good at this. I'm terrible at it, because all I see is a bunch of people standing up for human rights. And of course, there's probably some people in there that I disagree with, probably quite vociferously about many things. But I see no indication. I don't see any reason to blanket, to say these guys all blanket support Hamas, right? I don't see any Hamas flags. I don't even see from the river to the sea. I see a lot of ceasefire. I see a lot of hands off Rafah. I see some free Palestine. Wake up, free Palestine. Just not seeing this pro-Hamas bent that all these mainstream pundits, they show 5 seconds of a protest and say, these pro-Hamas people need to be stopped. We got to ban all protesting. We got to make sure all protesting is illegal. So I'm just having a hard time. Maybe you can help me out. See here. Oh, there we go. Free Palestine. Wow. Super loud. I'm so sorry. I got to do the noise gate. I'm so sorry. There we go. So sorry about that. Wake up. That one said Israel bombs babies. So there we go. That's Hamas, right? Look at them. They're aggressive standing around. Oh, they're very aggressive. Free. I love Hamas. I hear it. I love Hamas. Clear as day. Pretty clear to me. One more time. That's weird. Hold on, one more time. Yeah, that's weird. I'm sure there's some pro-Hamas people in there. So it's all Hamas. If there's one person who's pro-Hamas, even secretly, then I feel comfortable just putting a big Hamas blanket over all of them and saying they're all bad. And we should really get to this whole banning public expression like they're doing in the UK, and of course all the different protesting rules here in the United States. We need more of them. I can't tell what they're saying. They're saying, I love Hamas, kill all, you-know-whats. That's what they're saying. Pretty clear to me. So like I said, the theme of the Gaza coverage today is protest. Zionist settlers demand entry into Gaza to begin establishing illegal settlements on native Palestinian land. So here we have, innocent, well-meaning religious extremists who are wanting to, get through here and start occupying Gaza as soon as possible. And they're quite miffed at the IDF for stopping them from doing that. I want to point out how, and I've seen this with other religious extremists, how straight up childish they are. They, just throwing a toddler level hissy fit. And and I see this with a lot of religious people. And not all religious people, of course, but I just, because they've had this religion, they fall back on it. Everything's through God. It's all because of God, or it's God's plan, right? When they're directly confronted with things that they have no control over, and God isn't smiting them, and God isn't, and isn't like, being their I don't know, their armor or whatever you would want to put it there. They have like an emotional breakdown. They can't seem to handle extreme emotions. Like I said, it's not just these extremist Zionists. I see this with a lot of religious folks when actually confronted. Such a tough guy. Really tough guy. Making him so angry. He just wants to occupy the Palestinians' land. Look at him. He's so worked up. He can't wait to steal the Palestinians' territory. He absolutely can't wait. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people in Israel that fully agree with him. He's probably on social media being called a hero in those circles. Tens of thousands gather in Havana, Cuba, to march for Palestine. So here we have another pro-Hamas march over here in Cuba, well-known communist Cuba. So here we have. Let's see if we can find the Hamas members here. Oh, there we go. The communists are here. The communists are definitely here. Oh yeah, yeah. Guys, I gotta admit, I'm having a hard time finding the Hamas members here. Hold on. Oh, there we go. They said Hamas. I don't speak Spanish, but I'll just assume that was I love Hamas. There you go. More evidence that we need to completely lock down free expression. We gotta shut down protesting. That's the solution to the Israel-Gaza conflict, is to, dissolve our own democracy, right? Too many people having too many opinions. You gotta shut that shit down. Look for whom you dislike. It's Hamas. They're all Hamas. It's easy. It's easy to tell. So this is Status Quo. Good job, Status Quo, by the way. Make sure you like and subscribe to Status Quo, folks. Jordan Sheridan over there doing some really great work on the ground reporting. Like and subscribe. Good News Network. I like them. Contrary to NYPD and media and its media allies, are John Farina, who is a I believe a photographer. Yeah, photographer for Status Quo. Footage clearly shows ceasefire protesters were clearing the street to allow an emergency vehicle through when an NYPD officer violently dragged a protester who was walking away from him in front of an emergency vehicle. So, like they said, we gotta ban protesting, guys. We gotta stop free expression. And one of the big canards used against free expression and protesting is, of course, the emergency vehicle argument. Oh, well, these people are so cold-blooded and they just hate people and they hate humanity so much. They get in the way of ambulances and they prevent ambulances. Hamas negotiators arrive in Cairo for peace talks. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere, but thank you for that link. I'll cover it after this one here. But remember, folks, we have to shut down protesting and free speech, because what if ambulances need to get through and the cold-blooded, commie protesters who clearly love Hamas, they see it as an opportunity to hurt more people, and they take advantage of that, right? Guys, it's pretty clear to me. We need free speech zones, big cages. People can, they can shout all they want 6 miles away from what's happening. That needs to happen. And we also need to shut down free expression, because what if I need to go to the hospital? What about the kids? There we have an emergency vehicle. People getting out of the way, splitting the crowd. Wow, look at that active effort to block this emergency vehicle, guys. Look at that. Wow. Wow, look at that active effort. Get in the way of that. These people hate. Wow. Oh, okay. And now we are. This person was trying to leave. Was this person doing anything? So you can see them because they got the Palestinian scarf on there. That means they're a member of Hamas. So maybe that's what's going on. So Hamas member right here. Okay. Yeah. Allah Akbar. Oh, I saw it. Yep, the person said Allah Akbar. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Clearly. I mean, look, their face was covered. in a Palestinian scarf, which is a very common scarf, by the way. It's a, you know, it's like a it's a cultural symbol, this Palestinian scarf, right? But I mean, obviously, clear terrorist. Yep. Oh man. You know, and it was so important to get people out of the way of this emergency vehicle that we had to drag a person in front of the vehicle. Okay. So now Predator marched east, and the media claimed protesters were blocking an emergency vehicle trying to get to a potential grenade left in a nearby Uber. True story. Clearly shows that protesters were clearing to allow the emergency vehicle to pass, though when an NYC police officer violently dragged a protester who was walking away. I really wish they hadn't, you know, because like you get right to the end of the did they drag them in front of the vehicle, or did they drag them like further over? You know what I mean? Video cuts off right here. And I don't get to see, okay, are they arresting this person right in front of the vehicle? And they're like, oh, the emergency vehicle, we care so much about it. Or did they drag that person away from the emergency vehicle to arrest them? Our footage shows it was the police, not the protesters. Okay, all right. Did we get the rest of it here? All right. Yeah, so they dragged this person. They dragged this person. You know, they pulled this random person out of the crowd. Obviously, I don't agree with this, but they did not try to. They moved this person to the side. We should be honest. We should be honest about this stuff. They dragged this person to the side of the vehicle so that the vehicle could continue to move. And this status quo is trying to say, oh, you see, they were. I'm not buying it. Yeah, this does not look like an attempt to move that emergency vehicle through the crowd. It does not look like that. Well, maybe they're surrounding the vehicle, then I guess they're gonna move forward through the crowd. Maybe I'm wrong there. Goofy NYPD bike cops. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't, you know, I don't. It's kind of hard, the disorganization of it. Not a single person over the blowhorn being like, "Can please let this emergency vehicle pass? Please get out of the way of the emergency vehicle." Not, you know. Surely they got someone with a bullhorn going, "Hey, come on, this is an emergency. We got, you know, a grenade in a vehicle. Can you please get out of the way? There's an emergency. Can you please get out of the way?" They're not doing that. It kind of seems like they're using this vehicle as a tool of crowd control. It does not look like this emergency vehicle is in any hurry to get through this crowd. Very interesting. According to the most recent polling data I could find from Palestinian polling, 57% of Gazans, 80% of the West Bank believe Hamas was correct. So, Clutch Cargo, that means kill them all? Yeah? Kill them all then? It's all justified? Is that what you're trying to say? They deserve it? Men, women, and children? Kill them all? They had it coming, basically. Well, they kind of had it coming, right? That's how other people should, that's how other human beings should treat other human beings that disagree with them, right? What are you trying to say, man? What point are you trying to make? It's the first comment in the chat. I'm talking about Gaza. I'm talking about people getting blown up, men, women, and children. I'm talking about protests over here. Gaza being used as a justification to make protesting illegal. And the first comment you put down is, well, according to polling, the Palestinians agree with October 7th. So what specific point were you trying to make with your initial comment? Oh, I'm just trying to get a handle on. I'm just asking. I'm not even asking questions. I'm just non sequituring. Oh, you know. Because I mean, what do you do with that, right? Well, do we dare give the Palestinian people peace like every other country in the world? Do we dare treat Palestine like every other country in the world that deserves sovereignty, that has human rights? No. Well, they said things we disagree with. Bro, you do realize the world forgave Nazi Germany, right? That there was a question about, so we've won, do we just annihilate Germany? No, we can't do that. We're better than that. We're better than the Nazis. That's what the Nazis wanted to do. They wanted to eradicate everything that they didn't like. We gave Germany back to the Germans, but we can't give Palestine back to the Palestinians. Gas canister. I believe that's a smart move. Hamas negotiators arrive in Cairo for peace talks. Israel reportedly boycotts Gaza ceasefire negotiations. Guys, if you've been following Israel, this is par for the course. This is the two-state solution all over again. Right? Anytime real negotiations, like a real peace process was happening, Israel boycotts, Israel walkouts, Israel ignores. Anytime there was any kind of legitimate, I'm not interested anymore. Like, okay, well, we're done talking. Let's hash this out. Okay, we'll make sacrifices. Palestine, right? Okay, we'll make sacrifices. Israel, protesting. They're anti-Semitic. They haven't acknowledged our existence, even though we have never acknowledged their existence either. But somehow we're going to hold them to that standard. We're not going to hold ourselves to that standard, but we're going to hold them to that standard. By the way, did you know that Israel has never designated their official borders? I think the only country on planet Earth that has never designated their official borders. Chem Goblin, unlike Ukraine, where joining the army means you're fighting an existential battle for your existence, in the United States, joining the military means you're joining in the United States' military-industrial complex's effort to dominate the planet, to control the world. The U.S. empire is 100% interested in dominating the planet. The United States has a different way to go about it than Russia and China and the other big dogs. Okay. The United States doesn't want to put a flag on Ukraine and call it Hot Dogistan, right? We don't want to put a flag in China, a U.S. flag. We're perfectly fine. You having your own identity, your own flag, your own name, whatever you want. But as long as you're going through our economic system, as long as you're tied to that dollar, that's what this is. That's the global domination the United States empire is interested in. Your country being beholden to a system that the United States is at the top of. That's the global domination. And yes, the United States does use its military to secure that economic control. Sometimes it's a clusterfuck of motivations. Iraq and Afghanistan are a great example. That wasn't even about enriching America. It was seemingly the military-industrial complex needing to justify its own fucking existence. We can get into that later. But no, Hamas negotiators arrive in Cairo for peace talks. Israel reportedly boycotts Gaza ceasefire negotiations. God, that's exactly to be expected. Because they say, they don't acknowledge our existence. Why would we negotiate with an entity that doesn't even acknowledge our existence? When they themselves, like I said, do not acknowledge the existence of Palestine from day one, and never will. Yeah, there's not much to read here, and the video doesn't work. Great website here. Can't click the video. Nothing. No article. Just the 25-second video you can't watch. Hamas, Qatar, and U.S. negotiators meet in Egypt for Gaza truce talks. Delegations from Hamas, Qatar. This is just a few hours ago. Thank you, by the way, strategy member. Delegations from Hamas, Qatar, and the United States met in Cairo on Sunday to continue negotiations for a truce between Israel and the Palestinian Islamist group in the Gaza Strip. You can say Hamas. Wow, what a weird way to word that. Can't even the terrorist group that must not even be named, right? Fucking Voldemort over here. Palestinian sources confirmed to EFE the arrival of representatives from Qatar and the U.S. along with the Hamas negotiating team. Oh, I see. The reason why, oh, duh. Okay, the reason why they did that is because they said, okay, I'm sorry. I'm the idiot. I'm the one that doesn't know how to structure a sentence. I just want to use Hamas and everything. Hamas. Oh, my God. However, they clarified that the team is led by the organization's number 2, Jalal Halia, rather than by Hamas political bureau leader Ismail Haniyeh, as suggested previously. Yeah, if I was the leader of Hamas, I wouldn't be going anywhere publicly, you know? Israel would absolutely drop a bomb on this, you know what I mean? Despite high-level Egyptian sources as cited by the Al Quaira News television channel, maybe not if Qatar and the United States were there. What am I talking about? Okay, they wouldn't, but they might try something, maybe a kidnapping, a targeted assassination, but they wouldn't drop a bomb. Not if Qatar and the United States are there. Boy, that'd be awkward. Watch Joe Biden just like downplay. U.S. negotiator gets bombed along with a Qatar negotiator just to get this, top-level Hamas guy. Joe Biden, oh, we didn't like that. That was bad. Yeah. Strategy, yeah, exactly. I believe ownership of land is the original sin. Who sold the land in the first place? Someone once said, this piece of land is mine. It's all bullshit. Land should not be traded. Wow, Gamer Jam. So you think the solution to this problem is to question sovereignty altogether? You think that's a quicker way to peace? Is to have a debate about the nature of sovereignty altogether? Really? You know what I mean? Do you think it might take a little bit longer to have the discussion necessary to even talk about that properly than implement your solution? Maybe you weren't. I mean, it's just like, what do we do? Everyone should just get along and be nice to each other. If everyone was just nicer to each other, then we wouldn't have wars and stuff. Yeah, true. Okay, it's true. Because yeah, I mean, maybe you have a point, Gamer Jam. The entire concept of because we're all human beings, right? It doesn't matter if you're born. The skin color. The skin color is literally just how close you were to the equator 1,000 years ago, right? Your ancestors. That'd be a hard sell to the establishment. I'm just wondering how that would even how it what a peace summit hosted by Cheech and Chong. I mean, what would? Yes, Gamer. Yes. You're not exactly wrong, okay? But I don't know. I guess I'm just. Where's the solution? Okay, it's Let's try to bring it back from the metaphysical into actionable actions, right? Blah 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 blah. Okay. Despite high-level Egyptian sources assuring the participants, all parties, the president. Okay. Despite high-level Egyptian sources, as cited by Al Quaira News television channel, assuring the participation of all parties in the new round of talks in Cairo, the presence of an Israeli delegation has yet to be confirmed. And let me tell you, if you've been following follow the history of the two-state solutions negotiations after Oslo. Follow the timing and the techniques used by Israel. Not just Israel, Palestine as well in some cases, but a lot of it was being rejected by Israel. There was a lot of there was a couple golden moments where the leaders of Palestine were ready to make big sacrifices and acknowledged the existence of Israel, and they did the whole thing. And Israel, no, you're anti-Semitic. We don't like you. Well, this is getting too real. Basically, this negotiation is getting too close to being substantive. We're walking out. We're offended. You're anti-Semitic. Quote, the Cairo meetings aim to find a mutually acceptable forum for Hamas and Israel to achieve a ceasefire amidst mounting pressure to secure one before Ramadan begins, the Palestinian source says. Yeah. Mediators and a censored draft agreement. Yeah, see, mediators, particularly Egypt, have intensified pressure on Israel and Hamas to reach a truce centered on a draft agreement proposing a 6-week cessation of hostilities. This is insane. This is not going to work. Nobody is going to. I mean, maybe you start here and then negotiate to something later. But this seems like a non-starter to me. A 6-week break for my critical political leverage? No. How about no, dude? How about permanent ceasefire and then I can talk about releasing hostages? You know what I mean? The fact that we're still even proposing a 6-week secession makes me think that that you would never be serious, even if we agreed on a permanent ceasefire. Right? Your insistence that this lasts only 6 weeks makes me think that there's no way in hell you would ever want a permanent ceasefire. No, exactly. Your destruction is assured. Your destruction is guaranteed. Well, gee, let me just hand over the hostages right now then. You know? The fact that a 6-week ceasefire is being negotiated tells me Israel doesn't give a shit about the hostages. No one's going to take that deal. And if Hamas takes this deal, then wow, I'm like, we are dealing with fucking morons. And you know, I will be absolutely shocked. Hamas gives up all the hostages for a 6-week break in fighting, and then what? 6 weeks goes by, and it's go time, bitches. Hamas doesn't have tanks. Hamas doesn't have an air force. They barely have drones. You know, they're barely harassing Israel with fucking remote drones. The best thing they got are guerrilla, poke and harass tactics coming out of unknown tunnels and little hidey holes here and there in the rubble of Gaza to fire an RPG before running away. Their fighter jets are paragliders. Yeah, okay. And there's just the Palestinian death toll in Gaza has surpassed 30,000, mostly women and children, since the Israeli military offensive began after Hamas attacks. Wow. And then, yeah, so here's footage. U.S. dropping, come on, where's the footage? Here we go. U.S. dropping food aid in Gaza while supplying weapons and logistics support to Israel's ethnic cleansing campaign. They are now also dropping food into Gaza. By the way, the United States totally agreed with Israel on cutting UNRWA funding. Israel said we can't have UNRWA. Oh, there were a couple Hamas members of the thousands of volunteers for this aid agency. A couple of them were Hamas friendly, Hamas associated. But sure, okay. All right, I believe you. I don't know. But immediately, all funding cut. United States. Yep, we're going to do that. They're going to do that. But that's what this is, isn't it, strategy? This is because of Dearborn, Michigan. This right here. This is because of the undecided vote. No, we're not going to change a single thing with Israel. We're not going to. Nope. We're going to how many weapons you need? How many, what do you need? What bullets you need? What ammo for your Rafah offensive that we so desperately don't want you to do? The Rafah offensive that you're definitely not doing, right? Oh yeah, no, definitely. Zio Duke, uncommitted in Dearborn, Michigan. Joe Biden lost to uncommitted during the primary to pick the candidate for president. And Dearborn, Michigan has the highest Arab population in the United States. And then, of course, I have video as well. I guess. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, I think these were from Jordan or a different Arab country, but this happened a couple days before, maybe a week before the United States dropped its aid. They missed the drop. So, you know, these desperate Palestinian people picking up boxes of flour, and as you can see here, desperate, hungry people ripping food out of. There's like a kid here. This guy with the whip. So these are MREs. So this guy's saying, you know, he's not bragging. He's not bragging. Look what I got. He's actually pointing out, you know, no one else, you know, this is not enough. You know, thank you, but this is not enough. Show you here.
This is what they are fighting over. Ration packs, a lifeline for the lucky few.
I was lucky and able to get one of these aids. But what about all those other people who were not able to get this aid? Look, this one didn't get any, and this one didn't get any.
But so much more
Way to rub it in, buddy.
needed.
I'm asking from the Arab nations. We are thankful for the aid through the parachutes, but we need more, and we need it distributed in a better way. This will not stop our hunger. We don't need a capsule, because when we eat this, we will eat it, and that's it. It's finished.
But nowhere are people more
this
desperate
is so
for food
terrible.
aid than in northern Gaza, where women and children wait in long lines for what now passes for food, a cloudy soup mixture made with dirty water and whatever grains can be found.
There is no food or drinking water.
And I need to remind people, this is intentional. This is a situation that Israel is putting these people in intentionally to get them to move further south. And the speculation is that, you know, create a big enough humanitarian crisis on the border with Egypt, and it just gets out of control. And then all of a sudden, hundreds of thousands of people are crossing that border. That's the situation that Israel seemingly wants. And I hope I'm wrong.
Flour or anything. There was no cooking oil, not even drinking water. Death is better than this.
Humanitarian aid deliveries this month dropped by half compared to January, according to a United Nations relief agency, which blamed Israeli military operations and the collapse of civil order in Gaza. In northern Gaza, aid groups suspending aid delivery amid looting and attacks on aid trucks, leaving many with few options to stay alive.
Look, we are eating animal feed against our will, but have to eat it.
Without food or clean water, their voices are all they have left.
The suffering of Gaza is extremely difficult. Where are the authorities? Where is the government? Israel made us hungry and our government made us hungry, and people are stealing. Shame on you Arabs. Where are you?
But after nearly 5 months of war, is the world listening?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the presidents that make up the countries of the Arab League there, you know, surrounding this region, they're happy to run, you know, their political campaigns and, you know, political ads, talk about how they care about the Palestinian people. But you know, the cynics, I think they're correct when it comes to, you know, that point out that they don't really care about Palestinians, that they're just cynically using them for politics. You know, does anyone really believe any of these Arab countries are going to go to war for the Palestinian people? You know?
Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Tel Aviv.
God damn it! I can't even.
Yotis Soreto is.
Kid's just a couple years older than my son. All right, folks. I have officially run out of time. And I have a massive Ukraine segment that I'll be doing tomorrow. We'll be starting off tomorrow with all the Ukrainian news that I can fit, and then whatever is left. But yeah, we'll be doing a Monday stream. Look forward to that. I have to go, speaking of my son, I have to go see a daycare can go see a daycare, see if they're up to snuff here. Go interview them. Why not do Gaza and Ukraine first? We'll do Ukraine first, then Gaza. Okay. Plenty of bad news to get to. But yeah, sorry, Chem Goblin. Once again, I left Ukraine to the last, and I ran out of time. But like I said, I'll be making Ukraine #1 priority tomorrow. Can't wait for some fresh takes. Why do I get a sense of you being facetious in that comment, Trailhead? Why do I sense a little sarcasm in your comment? I gotta say though, Trailhead, thank you for sticking around. And even though I timed you out for 30 minutes for bragging about not voting, look, I get it. I get it, but I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. Big props to Lenny, #1 Twitch streamer on this platform. Make sure you like and subscribe to Lenny. He's over there south of Boston. accidentswaitingtohappen.com. Thank you, Lenny. Big props to your boy Chem Goblin. Thank you, Chem Goblin, for all your support and all your hard work in the Discord. If you want to take a look at the Discord, all of his programming work, he's got a new chat bot called the Nano Goblin, helping us clean up our links so that we can see pictures and videos and embed them properly into Discord. Thank you, Chem Goblin, for all your hard work. Strategy member, thank you. Big props to you. Zeo Duke, big props to you. Thank you so much. Gamer Jam, Ice King of Space, big props. Clutch Cargo, thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. Gas Canister, you seem new. Thank you for stopping in. I'm pretty amazing. Thank you. You are pretty amazing. Ribbons, thank you, Ribbons, coming back. Turning into an OG over here, Ribbons. I do appreciate it. Big props to you, Ribbons. Demon Demos Destroyer. Thank you, Demos Destroyer, for stopping in. Big props to you. Davin, big props to Davin. Definitely. Thank you, Davin. Tisriel, Davey. Big props to you guys. Davin, Tisriel, and Davey. Thank you. Let's see here. Anybody else? Talking about Mr. Beast. That's so funny. Thank you, Ribbons, once again. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Don't forget to follow my 3-step program to create political change, because this is an existential crisis for democracy and liberty. Step 1 is to inform yourself. Step 2 is to join a progressive political organization, or any political organization that wants to create real change. Progressive left change. There's a lot of right organizations creating all kinds of change. Please don't join those. And then step 3 is to put in the work. Steve Bannon, he's putting in the work. Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, locking in, putting in that work, putting in the hours to install fascism, to dissolve democracy. We need to challenge that. And the only way to do that is to treat political activism like a job. Folks, peace in that motherfucking Middle East, and glory to the Ukrainian democracy. Look forward to us covering Ukraine tomorrow. We'll see if we have a time for anything else, but absolutely 100% Ukraine for sure. All right, everybody. I needed a couple extra seconds to fade out. All right, everybody. Thank you again. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Oh, yeah. The News Underground. I'm Abandoned Nihilism. Harbinger. Whatever. No one cares. All right, bye. Bye. Thank you.